It was just a normal day, except that's what I thought. I was wrong. On February 24, 2024, I learned the truth, what goes on in this little town, Blue Springs, Missouri. It was about 5 days before my family and I were going to leave to go on a trip up to Chicago, but some strange things started to happen. It's hard to explain. I mean, it's not normal what happened to me, not at all. It was almost like I got a sense someone or something was watching me from afar, but it wasn't comforting, you know? It was like that thing had the intention of hurting me and my family. God, how I hated that feeling. So it's about 4 days until our trip now, and the feeling is getting worse. I can't even remember what caused such a feeling of paranoia and dread. I mean, a couple weeks back I did decide to go in the forest alone with my friends, but it was for a party. We got a little drunk, but it wasn't an unsafe kind of drunk. Apparently my friend said I passed out and I can't remember that, so it's most likely true. After that I thought things were fine, but then it got worse, especially on that day. I don't know what happened, but I feel sick just writing about this. Maybe he's watching me. I don't feel safe, not at all. I decided to go to one of my friends. His name's John and he's super sweet. Not to get all personal, but I've liked him for a while. I would hate for him to get hurt by this thing watching me. Anyways, I decided to go to John and tell him about this, just to maybe get an idea of what was going on, right? Wrong. John apparently knew about this thing and had been also experiencing it. He told me that he also went to this party in the forest. I don't know how I didn't notice him, and that he got the same feeling as me. I just want to know what's going on. We both decided to go to the library, just to get some understanding of what the fuck was going on. I decided to go to the paranormal section since I'm into all that spooky stuff, while John went to the science section. He was more into the logic behind it while I'm more of a theorist, you know? So I got this result saying how Woods Chapel Park, a forest and park in Blue Springs, how there was this ritual held years, and I mean years, back in the 90s by this satanic cult. When I tell you my eyes widened and I was petrified by that, it was almost as if it all made sense, like it connected to what was happening. I read more on it, and after they had this ritual, a creature or demon, whatever the hell you want to call it, appeared, and it was named the Watcher. This Watcher thing apparently stalked its so-called prey before killing it back in the forest. I immediately went to tell John this, but he didn't believe a thing and said we just got a little messed up at the party the other night, that it just messed with our heads, or that's what he read at least in the books he found. We got into a little fight, and so we both went our separate ways. So then a couple nights go by, and on February 5th he's not at school. Later that day I found out he was dead in the forest, the same way it said in the books. He was hung up like he was crucified with his guts hanging out, like he was on display. I decided to skip the rest of that day. I needed to find out more about the Watcher. I went back to our library and looked through the books, just anything that would help me find out more. The only more information I got was this. The Watcher is a man of mystery. He is known to appear in the forest and is brought to be through a satanic ritual involving a crow's skull, human remains, and a silver dagger. The ritual itself should be around midnight so you don't disturb others. You then do the following. Break open the crow's skull. Set the human remains in the skull. Sacrifice your blood from the left palm of your hand and other party members. Put the blood in the skull. Stab the skull 3 times in honor of the Holy Trinity. You'll know he appears when you get a feeling of nausea and like you want to cry. You'll then pass out for a little, normally a couple minutes. There is no way at the moment to get rid of him. After I read that, I took the book back home with me, for proof that I wasn't crazy about such a thing. When I got home I felt sick to my stomach and immediately went to the bathroom. When I threw up there was so much blood, it was terrifying. I didn't tell anyone out of fear that I would be taken to a hospital. I was fine. I'm fine. About a week went by after that. Same thing, throwing up blood, feeling watched, same old, that was until February 22. That was when I saw him for the first time. He was tall and lanky, like a man you would see on those eerie true crime shows, except he didn't look human. He was like a shadow, a tall, lanky shadow. I saw him while I was walking to school that day. He was by a couple trees and a bench. When I saw him my vision became blurry and I felt dizzy. Then he disappeared and those feelings were gone. The next day it only got worse. I saw him more frequently. He's watching me. He knows everything I do. Every little move I make. I don't know how much longer I can take this. I need to tell someone. I need help. Please help me. Help me. February 24th, 2024. My family and I were packing to leave for our trip. We were going to go for a nice long drive up to Chicago, stay there for a couple days, then come back. Something is wrong with today. As we were driving, our car got into a crash. We swerved off the road and into a ditch. I limped out of the car in pain. My left arm was broken and some glass from my glasses was lodged into my left eye. Left. My family was seriously hurt. They died. I limped into the forest, getting away from the accident, not bearing to hear screams of my brother in pain. Wrong choice. The Watcher was nearby. He caused this. He killed my family. The Watcher is a strange man. He helps people in need, but hurts others as well. He helped me. He healed me. My left arm and I are better now, he healed them, but my family is still gone. As of today, March 13th, 2024, I still see him. He still watches me from afar. When the news comes on, the same thing still happens to others. Just like John. The Watcher did it, he killed them, and if you do the ritual he'll kill you next unless you're lucky like me.